Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. Thank you everybody for joining. My name is Fahad Siddiqui. I'm the founder and the CEO of Mabrook and co-founder of Taif. On behalf of Taif and Mabrook, I welcome you all. This is all about our young kids today. MashaAllah, they are so much talent, and I am also learning from them when I was in Epic Masjid in December. So Yahya is the lead. Yahya, why don't you introduce yourself and start, inshallah.
All right, Assalamu alaikum and welcome everyone. Today we're going to be bringing three pioneering organizations that are shaping the future of Islamic finance, digital innovation, and STEM education. Mabrook is a blockchain-based Islamic tokenization platform offering a digital assets as a service model that enables businesses to securely develop and scale Sharia compliant digital asset solutions with a focus on engagement, security, and inclusivity. Mabrook is creating a modern Islamic capital market that empowers businesses and communities. Taif Digital Institute is a specialized training and education hub for Islamic finance professionals. Through its diverse range of courses, certifications, and corporate training programs, Taif is committed to building capacity, fostering expertise, and advancing Sharia compliant financial practices worldwide. Finally, is EPIC Labs Robotics, which is an organization dedicated to inspiring the next generation of STEM leaders by promoting accessibility, inclusivity, and innovation in science and technology, with a mission to motivate children from diverse as well as underprivileged backgrounds. EPIC Labs encourages problem solving through STEM solutions while fostering a culture of competency and professionalism through competitive programs. Together, these three institutions are driving innovation, education, and ethical finance forward. Let's dive into today's session, inshallah. So just to start out, we're going to be sharing a video kind of to give an introduction of EPIC Labs Robotics, kind of give an introduction for what we do and how we do it at EPIC Labs. So the video is over here. All right.
Hello, we're EPIC Labs Robotics, an organization aiming to inspire the next generation of STEM leaders. We compete under a broader organization called First Tech Challenge, a robotics organization that inspires a bunch of high school kids ages 12 to 18 to create a robot that completes a series of tasks given in the beginning of the season. This season's task is very interesting. This season, the robot needs to be able to pick one of these samples up and place it inside of either of these buckets. Then, the robot must also be able to place this onto either of these bars. Once this is completed, the robot has to be able to hang on both of these bars. The team must be able to design, build, and then program the robot. The designing usually happens on a 3D modeling software where we're able to design and kind of have a blueprint of the robot before building it. Then we actually build the robot. Finally, it goes to the programming subteam, which inputs the software to make the robot come to life. I'm here with Adina. What's your role and how many years have you been here?
My name's Adina, and I've been on this team for 3 years, and I work on the CAD subteam.
Out of all the things you've done and learned, what do you think is one of the most valuable things you've learned on your work here?
So, of course, one of the most valuable things that I've learned is that the value of collaboration, working with teams. Some of the other things that I've learned that I think are really important to me is how to use AutoCAD, how to design mechanisms to be built in real life, and how to do 3D printing.
Thank you. I'm here with Siram, a first-year CADer. Siram, in all your time on this team, how much have you learned?
So before joining this program, I had little to no experience on CAD. But after joining this program, I've been designing more and thinking of more ideas, causing me to overall improve my skills as a CADer.
Thank you. I'm here with Iman, a first-year programmer. Iman, how do you feel that being on a robotics team benefited you?
So before I was on this robotics team, I knew absolutely nothing about robotics. I didn't even know what STEM even meant. But now I'm able to define Java and all these other programming languages.
Thank you.
All right, so the purpose for that video was to give in the beginning, you saw an introduction of what FTC is, what robotics is, and how we do it here at EPIC. In every season, they give a different challenge, and we'll give a presentation giving more information about that. And towards the end, we had 3 members of our team give testimonials and kind of say what they learned and what their favorite part of being in a robotics team is, just to show the impacts and the benefits of actually being part of a robotics team and starting one. So, inshallah, I'll get the presentation started. So, inshallah, we will be having a presentation to give a more in-depth view on robotics. And all right, so we're EPIC Labs Robotics, and I've been mentioning EPIC Labs Robotics quite a bit. So what is EPIC Labs Robotics? EPIC Labs Robotics is a robotics organization based at EPIC Masjid, East Plano Islamic Center, which is based in Plano, Texas. So our organization has many different goals. Our mission is named here, where we are trying to promote the accessibility of the field to communities around the world. So one of our biggest missions, to just explain this slide quite briefly, one of our biggest missions in robotics is that we're here. Of course, we have opportunities for robotics, but we know that people all over the world, there are not many teams. I was looking at a graph just the other day. America has a lot of FTC teams, while the rest of the world, like America has 5,000 out of 8,000, and the rest of the world shares 3. So we make it our goal to be able to spread robotics internationally, which is why which is why we're in this webinar, to show robotics and show a STEM on a global platform. And inshallah, we'll be able to reach out to individuals who are able to start robotics teams in their local communities. So, what is FTC? I briefly mentioned this in the video, but it's a challenge. It's basically a organization under a broader organization called FIRST. And what they do is for the students 7th grade to 12th grade. And what they have is a challenge. They have a different challenge every single season, and the team needs to be able to develop a robot that's able to complete the series of tasks. So then we're obviously guided by coaches, mentors, and STEM industry professionals in order to actually build these robots. And there's also a part where we have outreaching, where we spread robotics, spread STEM. And also, one of the biggest benefits of being on a robotics teams is you have an opportunity for over $80 million in college scholarships. So this season's challenge, which I believe Siram would take.
Okay, so this season's challenge, we have 3 main ways of scoring points. The first one is sample deposit, where samples placed around the field or found in the metal structure in the center of the field, the submersible, can be picked up and placed on either the high or low bucket, which have 2 pairs, one on the one side of the corner of the field and the other on the opposite corner of the field. The next way to score points is specimen delivery, where blocks can be brought by the robot to a zone where the player, someone that can interact with the blocks, attaches a clip. Then the robot can take that block and clip it onto either the low or higher bar of their alliance color. Lastly is robot hang, where the robot can hang on either low or higher gray bar for a certain amount of points.
Would you like to present Odyssey's robot?
So, EPIC Odyssey is one of the 3 main teams of the EPIC Labs Robotics. So EPIC Odyssey is one of the main 3 teams, and as you can see over here, we're using a custom drivetrain, which is made from Delrin, which many teams do not actually use. Then you can see in the picture with the yellow sample, which is onto the red bar, that by using an arm, we can put it into the green bucket, which is a passive, as we call it, which means it doesn't use servos or any active motor or materials to use it.
So the next robot, our robot, which was the second one of the main 3 teams, is the expedition robot. We have 3 major components to our robot. The first one being the O drive, which helps with overall center of gravity for our robot. Next, we have our angled slides, which help with hang and high bucket. Lastly, we have our 360-degree wrist with claw attached for fast sample and specimen pickup.
So the EPIC Adventure robot, as you can see in there, is that the EPIC Advanced Robot consists of a large drivetrain for agile movement across the field. We use 60 RPM motors for the arms to give our slides pivot, which are positioned centrally using 312 RPM motors, using 1-to-1 gear ratio, as we calculated in a calculator to give us the right amount of torque and speed. Then, as you can see, our claw in some of the pictures, that we use these gecko wheels made from rubber that help us efficiently grip onto those samples as we've given you, as you've seen the examples before. And then these two blocks that are in U shapes that have one big hole in them, we use those to hold onto the bars and lift ourselves up to let us hang.
All right. So obviously building, you see how we have, so EPIC Labs Robotics has 3 different teams, and each team created their different robots. Every robot, because you have so many teams, every team is going to come up with an entirely different design for a robot. And it's amazing to see how all these high school minds, 12-year-old to 18-year-olds, are able to develop complex mechanisms to actually bring these robots to life and be able to complete the tasks given. But it's not as easy as it may look. We've distributed our team into 6 different sub-teams, and these sub-teams are what actually brings the robot to life. Every student has a specialty in their own sub-team, and their sub-team, for example, there's CAD, and someone who's in CAD or 3D modeling, CAD stands for computer aided design, so someone in this 3D modeling will learn a lot about it. Just as I mentioned during the video, Siram had said how before he had joined, he had barely even been experienced in 3D modeling, and now he's able to do all of he designed one of our claw. So along with that is the build subteam, which actually brings the CAD, which is a 3D model, to life, and the build subteam brings it into a physical form. Then there's a programming subteam, which inputs the software and it actually brings the robot to life. The marketing subteam is an entirely different part of the program, and documentation is what documents the process as it goes on. It's very helpful in the long run. And the quality assurance, a QA subteam, is what helps us keep everything on track by making sure that every single part is in the highest that they can be, the highest quality. So these sub-teams, the reason I want to mention these sub-teams during this webinar is because just to show how much you can learn by being in a robotics team. It's not just learning this random thing that's not going to be relevant. Each of these sub-teams have a real life application in jobs. And all of our members have learned so much and are continuing to learn in their time here.
So next we have CAD/3D modeling and build. We begin with prototyping, where we develop ideas by sketching them out, which ensures that our design fits together. We use CAD to make custom parts, which can be either cut or 3D printed, setting our robot apart from many others. This gives overall flexibility and our personality in our design. CAD is also the instruction manual for build, because build is based off of CAD. CAD as well helps limit build issues. Lastly, CAD helps with iterating digitally, as we can take screenshots or pictures of our CADs and put them on the engineering notebook or portfolio. This helps save time.
So this is the programming subteam, where we have 30 seconds for our robot to function autonomously, where we program mechanisms to move completely on its own. As you can see on the left here, we have Adventures robot, and we utilize GitHub and Android Studio to do all of this code. In autonomous period, the robot executes tasks on its own, and we have localization and path following methods such as pedropathing and odometry pods. In IntelliUp, we have a 2-minute driver-controlled period where we automate the driver's tasks by setting different buttons and telling it based on what to do. And for computer vision, we also implement cameras on our robot to figure out for the robot itself to figure out where it is and what it can do. And finally, we have the sensors, as I just explained.
So this video, as Imad mentioned, how our program has 2 parts, the autonomous where you will go on your own. This video is actually the robot moving completely on its own. So no one is controlling this robot. Everything was pre-coded, as you can see here. And well, I mean, the biggest part that I can think of is that this was made by high schoolers. So yeah. Next is the marketing sub-team, which I believe Inaya will be presenting.
So, as we mentioned earlier, our mission statement is to spread STEM everywhere and advocate for it. And we do this by performing various outreaches, such as professional outreaches where we reach out to professionals in the industries around us relating to robotics, and mentorship outreaches where we give guidance to other teams or the other teams guide us, and inspire outreaches where we inspire the underdeveloped communities or children around our community to have an interest in STEM. And we do all of this and reach out to our community by using our social media platforms. And we're able through our Instagrams and our YouTubes and all of that, we connect with other teams and people, and we create tutorials as well to help others who need it. And it helps us overall maintain an online presence for our team. And to fund this program, the money doesn't come from nowhere, right? So we're required to raise funds and have sponsorships with various companies to fund our program and get supplies for the robot. Next, we have the QA, in which we use agile methodology to test every step of the process while building the robot to ensure that rather than testing the robot's functions at the end of building the robot, we test every step to avoid any mishaps in each step, and it ensures a higher quality of the performance of the robot. We also document any mistakes we make so that we don't repeat them, and we use various test cases to test our products and capabilities of our robot. And these are our accomplishments during our seasons. So last year we made it to states after receiving the first Think Award in the States, allowing us to advance to Worlds, in which we won the second place Connect Award. And we also started a team in India called Team Jabronics, and that team ended up scoring the highest record in India. And Jazakallah for your time and listening to our presentation. Do you have any questions for us?
If anyone has any questions, just raise your hand.
Sure, I can maybe start. I have a question. Thank you very much. I mean, you guys are doing amazing job and you are contributing, and not only you're learning yourself, but you are also transferring the knowledge to other kids across the globe. So it's a very phenomenal piece of work you guys have done. So if I just want to know, like, if I want to enroll my kid in this program, how can I do that? What are the steps?
All right. So the easy way would be finding a local robotics team, but I can't guarantee that you might have one near you. So in order to actually, if you don't have a robotics team near you, what you do from there is you would have to start one. This is a longer process, of course, because starting a robotics team isn't an easy task. But that's why we're, as EPIC Labs Robotics, if anyone in this meeting would want to start robotics teams and enroll their kids or anyone they know in it, we're here to help you guys achieve that. So how we have done it, as Inaya mentioned, we've helped teams in India and schools in India start their teams. So the way teams usually work is you can have two types, either a school team or a community team. Our team is a community team and is based at a masjid. But a lot of teams will be school teams because that's easier to manage. If you wanted to go the school team route, then you have to connect with the child's school and see if they're interested in starting a robotics team. If the child's school is interested and they have enough members, then all you'll need in order to actually start is you'll need enough members to build a robot, market, and do all of that. You'll need the funding as well, which usually happens through sponsorships or donations. And then once you have those two things, you'll just need a place a place for people to work, and usually a mentor, someone who can actually teach the kids. Once again, if you guys do need a mentor, we're here. We have helped quite a few teams. So that's for a school team that it usually happen under a school. Sometimes the school might not say yes. Sometimes the school might not have enough students. So then you'd have to start a community team, which is a little more difficult if you don't have the right community or if you don't have the right students. However, for example, I'll use our masjid as an example. When our team started, it started by someone coming to the masjid and going to the board and asking them if he would be able to start a robotics team. So from that, they dedicated a space, they got the funds to actually start the robotics teams, and they had held interviews in order to recruit the members. So the answer it's usually going to be one of those two things in order to start a team.
This is very great. So, if I want to start something similar, I can follow your model where I can go to my masjid just like your lead went to the EPIC Masjid in East Plano, and then we can start a group and get some funding, and then you guys can ramp us up, and then give us the required material and the mentoring to start that. And this is how the
Yes.
kids can know. Awesome. So I'm not sure if somebody else have a question because I have one more question I want to ask. Do we have any questions coming in? Okay. So we have a question coming in on the chat. Can this be utilized in a microfinance organization? So not sure who have asked this question because I cannot see the name. But basically, let me help you, Aya. So microfinance is nothing but Islamic finance mode of funding somebody. So I'm not able to get question if somebody can clarify the question. Okay, so as a project, yes, it can be. So if somebody is doing microfinance, Islamic microfinance, and they want to fund the team, it could be Yahya's team at East Plano Islamic Center, or it can be another group. They can invest and then they can bring up those kids, fund them, provide them equipment to actually learn. So that's a quick answer. But of course, Yahya does not do any microfinancing himself.
Yeah. I think one of the great things about having a microfinance organization is you already have the funds in order to, I believe you'd already have the funds to start the robotics team, which is usually one of the big blocks in order to starting one. So for people in a microfinance organization, it would be if you have access to a school or community masjid, if you're able to start a partnership with them, then you could be able to have the funds and sponsor the team. If that answers the question.
Thank you, Yahya. And the other question I have is that, um, so I have two daughters, right? So, Yahya, can you help me understanding what kind of skill set or what kind of, I would say, extra skill set, I would say, comparing any other kid who's not doing this course, what kind of changes you are seeing on the kids? Like what kind of skills they are learning, which will help them in their career path also. I mean, it's a very general question, but I mean, what kind of skill they are learning?
So every subteam is probably going to have its own answer. I'll start with the CAD subteam, for example. The CAD subteam usually goes into 3D modeling and things like that. So CAD in the real world can be used to designing not just robots, but houses. I've seen people use CADing software in order to create blueprints to build houses. For programming as well, we can see how the future is AI, the future is STEM. And learning this at a young age is going to help a lot. Learning this, like programming, not only will you already have that skill set, but colleges would like that as well, and you'll be able to be a few steps ahead. So, and even in marketing, like I'm in the marketing sub team. Before I started, I could not speak. Like, if I open my mouth, it just come out as jumbles. But after 3 years of being in this, alhamdulillah, I've become one of the main presenters and one of the main speakers. So there's a lot. Like, no matter what your interest is, I feel like a robotics team can cater to anyone.
Awesome. So basically, you are providing, or the STEM provides an environment where the kids can learn the new technology very fast. If versus at their home, they do it alone. The environment, the entire group provides kind of a different knowledge set to each other, so they can learn those new technology coming in. The other question I would have is for Sarin. Assalamu alaikum, Sarim. So, Sarim, can you tell us like what you do in the team and what is your job in the team, and do you have any advice for the kids of your like who are at your same age?
So you were asking for
Yeah,
my
yeah, what your role in team, and do you have any advice for other kids to motivate them to learn more about STEM and join the group?
Yeah, so this is my first year on the team, and so I'm mainly a cadder and I do building as well. So the thing is, so to start it, you need to have a passion for it, right? So you need to like put time into it, think of ideas, and no matter what it is, even if it may be like a simple idea, like not a common idea, I would CAD it, get an idea of it. Because CADing, no matter what you're CADing, you're always putting your experience into it and you're always gaining knowledge from it. You're learning new tools, you're learning new features, everything like that. So overall, I just say continue CADing, keep on working, and you'll overall become a better CADer.
So
That
for
was the
the
same
person,
for me.
yeah,
So
awesome. So for a person
yeah.
like me, can you tell me like one of the technology that you have learned, like the name of the technology or the tool you just spoke about?
Yeah. So originally before I used Onshape because I was a beginner and I wanted to learn some simple features. So I would recommend Onshape if you just want to learn the names of the features, maybe what they do. But after I got used to CADing over time, I switched to Fusion 360, which is an extremely popular and famous option among CADers because of its team diversity, allowing for multiple people to work on the same project, as well as more complicated and advanced features. So I use Fusion 360 at the moment, and I'm still, even to this day, I'm learning all like new tools, and I'm figuring out new ways to do things on Fusion.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And yeah, if you allow me, I want to ask one question from Taha and one from Inaya and Jaman, maybe.
Yes. Okay.
So, Taha, if you can tell us about your role in the team, and do you have any advice for the kids who are hearing it for the first time, and how it can really STEM can help them to become more competitive and learn more about technology and all that stuff you guys have been doing?
So currently I'm in Team Odyssey. Before that, I was in Team Adventure. But in my role from Team Odyssey, I currently am a build and cadder, also the driver for the team right now. And one thing that if I had to give a message out, it would be since this is my second year, I've put lots of time, energy, and passion into robotics. And personally, from my own view, I would be like, if I had to give one message, it would be put your mind to it, and if you want to do it, you'll get it done.
Awesome. And what about if a kid won't do it, then what they are losing basically in their career path? What they are going to lose if they don't learn all those tools that you guys are doing? Taha, if you can also put some thoughts around that.
Career-wise, it matters on what they're doing. Let's say they're going for a specific STEM-based field, then maybe if they became let's say, a builder and cadder, in the STEM side, maybe if you're trying to become a prosthetic doctor, a prosthetic designer who designs prosthetics, if you don't become a building cadder, you may lose that early sense and experience of these 3D modeling websites. And you can like open your mind earlier on so you can see these different parts of life and these different parts of fields that you really didn't know. Also, it's I've heard from many people that these sort of things that you do, like FTC, looks good on your college resumes as it distinguishes you from other people.
Wonderful. That's a very good advice, Taha. Thank you very much. So I will just move to Inaya. Inaya, if you are not sure, you can turn on your camera, but can you tell us about your role and what is your advice to the kids with same your age, especially our daughters? Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm a marketer in the team, and this is my second year on this team. And as a marketer, I have to work with others and help start outreaches as well as find sponsorships by cold calling or cold emailing various companies. We often use Canva for presentations like these for our outreaches, and What I've learned so far, I've learned how to collaborate with the team and interact with people because my social skills are a little weak. So I've learned to collaborate with various peoples of various backgrounds. So it's been really helpful.
That's really good. I mean, you are doing it better than me. Now, tell us about if somebody wants to fund or somebody wants to contact you for funds to fund a project, what should they do? Is there any website, any email, any contact address
Yeah,
or some sort?
we have a website with all of our contact information below it. I can send it in the link.
Yeah, if you can put that on chat now, it will be great. Thank you very much. All right, Yaman, I see you there. So, Yaman, if you not sure if you can turn on your camera, but can you?
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
thank you very much.
I,
Oops,
I don't think it's
there's
working.
a yeah, it's working, but I think it's blocked on your computer. You just have to
Oh,
turn it on.
okay, okay.
No
Um,
problem. Take your time.
what was okay? The question was something like
Yeah,
the role
my
and
question was, yeah, I haven't asked a question, but the question would be similar. Tell us what is your role on the project in Epic Masjid in this Epic Lab, and what is your second question is that what is your advice to the kids? Why should they learn, and why should be they should pursue this in their extracurricular activity?
okay. So I'm a programmer, and programming is mainly like how do I explain it? It's a more of a memory based kind of thing, and it's stuff that you program to make the code go into action, and that's kind of what programming is. Um, why people should go into robotics overall? It's there's something for everyone. Like there's different sub teams for anyone, and just like you can gain a lot of experience with it, and
So
yeah, I don't know what else to say.
just like Taha was saying that, like say, let's say if you want to become a doctor and then you're doing some sort of a surgery, knowing robotics because in the new world, a lot of surgery have already started using robotics, right? Where the surgeon is not in the room, operating room, but the surgeon is behind some computer or some desk, and the robot, and he's controlling the robot. So that this knowledge will help them and make them stand in front of everybody when it comes to the skill set. I guess that's what you were trying to say, Jamal.
I guess so. But
Awesome.
is that all?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very
All
much. I
right,
think
thank
those
you.
were you're welcome. And those were the question I had. Not sure if any of the attendees have any question, but otherwise, I want to thank everybody, Yahya, Sarim, Yaman, Inaya, Taha, and one of their lead teacher. She's not on the call, I guess, Anita, for giving us your time and spreading the word out. I think the two takeaways, at least for me, would be that in our community, among ourselves, we have to form a group, as Yahya was saying, and then the Epic Lab group is there to support us in terms of what are these steps. We can contact them. And then what we do is that we go to our Islamic center, masjids, and other places, and then start putting those kids together, and then start learning this STEM in many formats they have. So they can learn technology, robotics, they can learn how to code, they can learn quality assurance, they can brush up their marketing skills, they can also learn social skills. So I think it's a complete package when it comes to being entering the practical life, I would say, out of a school. So I want to thank on behalf of Mabrook and Taif for everybody joining this webinar as well. And Yahya, do you want to conclude and end the webinar? Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I, of course, would like to thank all of you guys for taking your time out and listening to us present. Of course, as I mentioned in the beginning, is that one of our biggest goals is to increase the awareness of STEM internationally. And because this is a global webinar, this is why every person here has a way that can help us and we can help you to help us help other people by, spreading STEM. So I would just like to conclude by saying that if anyone sees any opportunity for starting a robotics teams, or you found robotics interesting and you want the youth in your community to be into these things, then for sure reach out. And I have sent our website. You can have our contact. If not, our Instagram would be EPIC Labs Expedition. I can send that in the chat as well. So just feel free to reach out to us. And I thank all of you guys for taking your time out to listening to us present, and have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I mean, we will do a follow-up, yeah, with you, inshallah, because I think someday we have to reconvene on over a weekend, so we
Yeah,
can have all those kids internationally, especially from subcontinent and the Far East and maybe Europe also. They would
yeah,
also be very keen to join hands and learn more about the stuff you guys are doing in terms of technology. Well, thank you very much.
right,
Assalamualaikum.
inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, jazakallah for
Walaikum
everyone
salam. Wa alaikum.
who joined.